All right, everyone. We are live with ALLI3GAL here on the Fat Phil channel. The first thing we need to do, Allie, if you want to send out your link in chat, send out a link to your channel in chat. I will pin that at the top. Make sure you guys go give her a sub. Obviously, the goal with all YouTube content creators is to, get to 1,000 subs first, and then it's to get to like ridiculous numbers. So let's help her get there. Allie, how are you doing tonight? We've got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get, we got to do this small talk first before we get into the big news we've got tonight.
Of course, of course. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Phil?
It's
Great to
been a
see you.
yeah, it's been a day.
It has. It's been a overwhelming day.
Yeah,
Overwhelming couple days.
it's that classic time where Meathead goes in and decides that we need to just data dump the community. You know,
Yes. He's just like, you know what we need to do? We need to just like cause some chaos.
and whoa, great one coming in with $50,000. Oh my gosh, if I was Arnold, or I guess it's billion if I was Arnold, right? 50, dude, great one, my man. That is way too generous. So
You are the great one.
yes, yeah, he earned his title tonight. So, Ali, with getting into this raid reaction and stuff, but let's kind of back up a sec. You're starting, you started your channel. What have you found to be the most fun part of that? What have you found to be the most challenging? I always want to ask people this because I can remember what it was like first starting out. And some days, you're like, it's like, man, I wish I could pick somebody's brain at times.
Yeah, God, it's been crazy actually starting out. I never honestly thought I would be doing this, to be completely honest. Uh Recently I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a try. And I was on Egnard's stream with him, and he's just like, "You got to do it." And then I went over to Rabbit Beaver, and I was talking, kind of shooting it off with him a little bit, and he was like, "Okay, go, just subscribe, get on my lowest tier. I have a video for starting a channel. Go watch that." So it was just great getting that little feedback from all you guys who have been doing this for so long, and um, you guys have been a crazy resource for me to use, and I'm still learning, but hey, we're getting there.
It never stops. It never stops. I am in a perpetual state of having to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Um, I, I remember like I think it's funny watching like you've got a green screen behind you. You have like the
Yeah.
microphone already, the headphones. Like I started out on like just creating stuff on my iPhone. I mean, like the video quality was so bad. So it's cool that you're kind of like diving headfirst into it and didn't kind of do it like me, where I'm like, like maybe eventually I'll get a laptop, maybe eventually I'll get a microphone. Like it took people in like my comment section like yelling at me every day to get a microphone. Those are the early days.
Shit. My attic behind me. Um,
Uh,
my little our little cave, video game cave back here.
hey, it's all. Mine's the
We,
like dog cat cave down here.
yeah, I love it. It's got the Ohio State. I mean, where I'm from, it's the Cuse, but
Yeah. No, I will say I did have a friend who ran cross country and track at Syracuse.
really, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he
Um,
was
I love.
phenomenal.
It is beautiful up here, though.
Yeah, it's the green screen does not work on Phil's streams. We couldn't get it to figure out, and obviously, I am not the person to ask for anything technical because that's just not. It's not what I do.
We
Um,
tried. We really did try.
we tried a couple things. It's not, you know, not working out. So, Allie, we got. Where do you want to start first? Kind of let you run the. Where do you want to start first? What's the first thing on your mind?
The first thing on my mind is this raid. Um, I know there was a ton of information with the kits that came out, and they just dropped the rework and um, just everything on us, Master Windows kit and everything. But the raid, the news that we got earlier today is just, I still haven't actually read the full thing. I saw um in my guild Discord that they got a new GL coming and everything, and I haven't exactly skimmed through it because I went from work, which I'm a pre-K teacher. I really don't get to have a minute to you know look at it when
Shocking.
I have like 15 4-year-olds kind of grabbing at me all day. And then I went right to Girl Scouts after.
There you go. That's mom. That is like mom life right there.
So
So
come home, now we're streaming and finally get a chance to read this news.
yeah, it's I got it. I was at work, and then my phone just starts blowing up, and you're like, oh no, here we go. Like, and I know I like have to prepare myself that every Wednesday is like my work from the office day, and it's when every
Right.
update comes out, and it's so frustrating. And like it felt like these like we got like the posts about Mace, we got the posts about Depa Balaba. Then it's like we kind of found out that Ayla was getting a rework, but then they put it into the game, but we never really got like what it was, did we? Like I still never saw like this is Ayla's rework.
I didn't either. All I saw was they came out with a couple things in the Mace Windu kit. They talked about it. And then she was just here.
Yeah, like and that just kind of I don't know. It's one of those like this is where as you know you guys are gonna hear Phil rant. I got like this is where like it pisses me off is why did we get two kits in the same day when you're more than capable of giving one of like those kits to us like a day beforehand because you know what it's gonna be already. Like there's no way their kits changed between Monday and Tuesday. And like Ayla's, it's the same thing. Like there's no way that kit has changed over the past 3 days that we couldn't have got a kit each day or something. But that's
For real.
yeah.
It just made no sense to me to just release it all in that one day. Like that was a kind of an overload.
Yes, yeah. Like I felt very much like oh, and again, I feel like it's not Meathead's fault. I feel like he has to do what he's told. And they're like we you do your update posts and all this stuff after it's in the game. Like we push it to the game and then you tell people. And I wish that they would just change it to like you can tell us beforehand. It shouldn't matter. There's no way any of that changed, but that's just I don't know. That's me being extremely
Exactly.
picky and annoying about it.
And
So
I will say this: if anybody blames Meathead, that's not cool. He's truly a terrific guy, and all none of he's just doing what he's told.
yeah, I feel like when he first came on the scene, people did not like his sense of humor. And there was a part of it where maybe he had to earn the right to joke about some of the things, but I felt like he really grew into how to get us going, how to make jokes and poke fun at us as a community or at himself. And now it's like every time there's a post, I'm looking forward to something that he snuck in there that is some pun or some joke that like all of us get. Like RC Cola for Scorch just sent me over the moon. Like that was so funny. It's so
Okay, there.
stupid.
Oh, absolutely. There is one thing in this last kit for Mace Windu that just kind of had me geeking. Was
Mm-hmm.
the thing about Jedi Knight Anakin not getting the mastery.
Yes. Yeah. We gotta. I
I,
have
I,
the. I can pull up all of those kits to make sure that we make sure that I get all that because there were so many posts today. I gotta
that
say
was so great.
I'm glad that there was like an update where they linked like the Mace Windu kit and the Depa Balaba kit. So you like he like I don't know if people have seen that where like he kind of hyperlinked them. So like in the update, it takes you to the post for the raid Mace and Depa's kit, which I thought made it very easy to navigate all of the stuff that had come out over the past 2 days.
Oh, absolutely. Thankfully, he did that because I would have been so lost. I'm
So
not super technologically sound, so I appreciate it.
So where do you want to start kit or do you want to start raid news? Because there's some raid news that
Uh,
did just get updated within like an hour ago or so.
let's talk about that. I think everybody is on the raid news right now.
Yeah. So
That's
let me
definitely the most pressing.
yeah, let's get on this raid news. So we've got the screen capture here popped up. So let's start with just the allowed characters, right? There's no surprises on the list for the most part. We all knew that it was going to be a whale fest, right? We all kind of like, and I don't want to say whale fest because like I'm actually pretty. I think in a lot of ways there's a lot of free to play friendly stuff going on. That you just have to kind of look past some of the stuff. Like they told you how long ago that Bad Batch was needed. We knew the clones would. We knew Vanguards would. I freaked out about pirates already, so I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. Like we knew, but they did include like them saying all pirates is pretty big because that opens up like Hondo, Nest, and Sana. So there's three characters that have all been in a Lightspeed bundle, have been in been around for a long time. How do you? Because you're obviously in a much different place than I am. How do you react to seeing this stuff?
I'm not shocked at all by any means. Looking at my roster right now, so I could pull up my pirates, and I I think from a Lightspeed bundle purchaser standpoint, the pirates with what they have in here right now isn't very drastic because mind you, I haven't added relics to any of these, and I have Hondo at 5, Santa at 5, and Infus Nest at 5. So the pirates that are out are at relic levels currently.
Yes, yeah.
Uh,
My Hondo is 6, but everybody else is at Relic 5.
so they did throw us a bone there. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a huge gripe about the pirates. I'm not particularly happy with their idea of throwing these into the raid and just saying, "Oh yeah, they're going to be late to the party."
Yeah,
That was a huge.
it
Ugh.
it felt very much like I feel that there was a great idea for, and I think I said this in a video at some point, I'm sure. Like, they had a really good idea for an Ahsoka raid, and it got delayed. And since then, they've been in a tailspin of trying to come up with the next thing and the next thing. And it got kind of kicked down the can. And I think pirates are kind of thrown in here. And I mean, I know people don't like this opinion on me, but I 1000% believe that, like, they know we would not spend money on these pirates. They know they would not be well received if they're not a part of the raid. They're not leading to a legendary. Like that was exactly why nobody cared about the Bad Batch when they first came out. Was that they were basically a nothing faction until they decided to put them in this raid. And so,
I think they could have tossed that anywhere though. Like even if they did go the Ahsoka raid route, you could have just been like, "Oh, well, the Bad Batch were a part. They were a big part of Ahsoka's story." There.
but were they? Like I mean, they were. It
In the grand
definitely.
scheme of things, no, but they were there.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a. I feel like again, I think they had a like they want to get this Order 66. Someone loves Order 66 there, and then they quickly realized that you're not going to be able to have enough teams that we don't already have. And so
Yes.
here we are. Which to their credit, I get. Which maybe it just brings up the point why make an Order 66 raid and why not just make a, something else raid. But,
Why not do
you
the
know,
original Bad Batch that were there, not the new?
oh,
Because they weren't really.
they weren't prevalent until they sold the Lightspeed bundle for all of them.
That's true. But I think that would have been your way to use them in the raid to say, okay, here's your Bad Batch squad, and
Yeah, I was trying to debate this myself, and this I'm glad I have you on to ask this kind of question. It, Do you think that they're trying to move away from people being ready for the raid because of light speed bundles? Like, think for Battle for Naboo, I felt a lot of players felt very prepared for that raid. I felt like a lot of people were almost over prepared, and they sold a lot of bundles leading up to that. Do you think this raid is almost a we're going to try not to do this as much and see how the community reacts?
I could definitely see that. This one, because as you said, the bundle with, um, the separatists and the they had the Palpatine bundle that set up the Maul, Newton, um,
Sidious.
Sidious. So that kind of set up a huge win for a lot of people in those cases. This one, not so much. I think some of the vanguards that I saw down there, like Qui-Gon and Shakti, kind of helps dull that a little bit. But the
Yes.
bulk of what you're going to use is going to be like the new clone troopers, the new Bad Batch. Um, in 2 weeks, it's not a lot of time.
Yes. So this was I'm trying to remember where it got added in here because I've seen it floating around on like Discords, but they did go in and somewhere added information on the raid. I don't even know which kit it got into. Or I truly
I think.
don't know. Was it in Mace's kit? Was it in
Oh, it's a good
did we
question.
did we figure it out? Because it did not. I'm trying to see where it went in because I saw it kind of. It was added like an hour after, or do I just need to refresh this maybe? Do I have
Um,
this up and it not tell us where it is?
yeah, because the only thing Storm posted in your server was just a little snippet.
Yeah, like it was definitely a snippet of like, hey, this is when the raid's coming. Oh, there it is. When does the raid go live? There it is, right in the middle here. So our reaction here is this raid is going live in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, this raid goes live.
Unless you're already in
Obvious,
a raid.
yes, which then you have a little bit more time to react. My mindset with this was I was hoping they would more so follow what they did with Jar Jar, where we got Jar Jar in May, right? Or was he March or whenever it was? He was out for like 2 months, and then the raid happened.
He was May, I believe.
And so we got the raid like was it July? Like it was. I feel like it was 2 months after Jar Jar the raid launched. So you still had a chance to use Jar Jar inside of the raid, but it wasn't to this like crazy extent. Where here, you're gonna have Mace in the game for a week, and then the
So Jar Jar was May 2nd, and the new raid was July 2nd.
yeah. So they were 2 months apart. So now like it's 3 months. Now the one thing I will say with that is when they planned the Battle for Naboo raid, it was a 6 to 9 month time frame. Where this one they're coming out and saying it's going to last a year, right? So there is I can't be completely negative on that front because obviously Naboo went on a lot longer than I think they were intending, but this raid they're telling us it's gonna last a year. So there's two sides to that coin of are they really changing the economy that much or are we just kind of have we been spoiled a little bit by how long Naboo has gone on? Because if they launched an Ahsoka raid at the time that they would have been ready for it, do you feel your account would be any more ready for that raid than it would have been for this
Oh
one?
God, no. That
Right? Like
got absolutely not.
So there's a little bit of, I don't know, there's a little bit of that going on where, I'm trying to be pretty more positive on this because I think there's a lot of good stuff going on that we just need to be, kind of aware of.
Also, I feel that they gave us more prep time for this one. Um,
Yes,
it
they
seems like
absolutely
since
did.
the Bad Batch came out and they told us, hey, this is going to be important, we've had more time to prepare for that than we did with the
Yes,
Naboo raid.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. They very much gave us a lot more forewarning of what was coming. Here's another point that I was thinking of. Like, is this another instance where, and again, I think your account obviously very different than where I'm sitting. Although one of us here does have a 7-star temple guard and the other one does not.
Take a guess in chat who has that one.
But I feel they've given you so much warning, and even not just warning in the sense of like, oh, like you knew that Vanguard were going to be needed. So it wasn't just like, oh, they told you Bad Batch and Bad Batch are farmable. You had an opportunity to start thinking about what to do with your resources, which I find that to be far more important information than necessarily what characters, like them. As soon as they said these things will be needed in the raid, these things, I immediately went into horde mode. Is that what you think, or are you still? And again, trying to be cognizant
So
that your account isn't like mine.
coming from my account, I wasn't able to hoard at all. I wish I could share my screen here. If you could pull up my account, I could show you more.
Let me get this thing open here. All right, game capture. Yeah, somebody's asking. Teacher Man's asking the important question in chat. How did you get 7-star?
Well,
You got hacked, right? You got hacked and someone bought it.
I did.
So Temple Guard, but
Arnold paid me to use my account for a minute.
yeah. So, no relics on this guy yet, right? No relics on him.
Correct.
No Zetas.
So I'm not going to have the team. I don't have Jocasta. I am 254 out of 330.
Okay.
So she's not there yet. Maybe next conquest. So I will have her during the raid, but I don't think I could do it this conquest.
Yep, that makes
So I don't
sense.
see a point in right now I'm trying to get my Bad Batch up. I'm trying to get Lord Vader. That's my current farm, and I'm trying to get Jedi Knight Cal Kestis relicked for my guild. So I have all these relics and all these Zetas that are going on to the Bad Batch and Je- Jedi Master Anakin and or Jedi Knight Anakin, and I have so much going in so many places. I can't hoard anything.
So, is this raid in your mind? Is it a really bad timing for the ALLI3GAL account, or is this a case of there's never a good time for stuff like this, and you just have to figure out where to go?
It's just if you could pull up the Bad Batch there. I think we're actually right around the same area. You probably have all the Zetas that you could apply and everything, but like farming wise, it seems like we're right similar to what I recall seeing earlier. Um,
Yes. Yeah, pretty close. My
so you're going to be
hunter.
able to get yours to relics way quicker than me, but it's all trying to find where to farm it and prioritize in certain things.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm planning to probably have them relic for my first raid attempt, which is not going to be fun because
in
I'm
in
like,
2 weeks.
well, it's not just that, right? Like this is the other, like I have you on here for this just to show like, so I have relic 9 oppo, so I have like all the nightfall battles that I could do, right? But
Mhm.
I'm still 46 shards short on CX2. So like I can buy, if I buy 50 of them, I spend 4,000 crystals. I can start doing the nightfall battles, which that will get me, Omicrons and droid brains and Gerda keypads. So like I'm trying to weigh if I feel that's worth it or not, and I'm kind of pissed because I didn't get any CX2 shards from the nightfall battle today, which of course like I got Oppo shards on one of them, which don't
Of
get me
course.
started. Yeah, like of course I had to get Oppo, and it was the 10 shard pull. So like this is a complete waste. Um,
Uh,
but that's like my if I do that with CX2, I've got to spend like 175 of each signal data to get him to relic levels, which like that's not fun. I mean,
no.
we've got a good bit hoarded here, but it's still not enough to do all of the bad batch and all the stuff that I want to do. But
That's what I was just gonna. Can you swing Bad Batch and CX2 is the question.
yeah, and
Um,
yeah, I will have to. 2 weeks is. I mean, I don't know that my bad batch need to be like relic. I'm only gonna take them to relic 5, so it's not like I need them there tomorrow. But it's definitely I'm gonna have to figure out how to spread the resources around because I'll also have like Ayla. I'll take her to relic 7, and then I'll at least have a full relic 7 Jedi Vanguard team to attempt to beat the raid with for a little bit.
I mean, I guess it all depends who you ask. If you get that, what's the egg? Who's like, well, if you get a Relic 9, it's worth two R7 teams.
I mean, it is though. It 100%
It
is.
is.
Like that's not even that is just math. Like that,
That's why I'm like, oh, that's totally Agnards. Um,
it.
but yeah, so taking CX to Relic 9 would give you two R7 teams. So I guess if you look at it
Well,
that way,
it's only if I'd still have to take Tarkin from 7 to 9, and then I'd still have to figure out if I can underman the raid. But that's just kind of you know, I, with it coming in 2 weeks, it's definitely a situation that I feel accounts like mine, it'll be all right, whatever for a month or two. But I think with accounts of your size and a little bit smaller, you guys are going to have to be a lot more. And I was glad, by the way, to see that you at least have some gear on your Bad Batch. Because one of the points I was going to bring up is that for everybody kind of freaking out that I'm not going to be able to score any points, you can potentially score a couple 100,000 points with this team at these gear levels. Like that's not going to be hard to do.
hopefully, I'm trying to at least get him to Relic 12. It's my goal for the first one.
Is gear 12 or gear 12?
Or Gear 12. Gear 12. Sorry, it's been a long day. Um, get that
Yeah.
monster going.
Yeah, seriously. So, on that front of okay, you did it here, are you going to do similar stuff with any of the other Jedi Vanguard that you don't have? I mean, I guess you've got most of them. Like, would you try to throw together a team with, these leftover ones? Because you
I
made it like
guess
we
I'm
get.
gonna try to go. I've already got um I've already got the Guardian. I've I've already got him there. So I might as well go for Depa.
You think you're gonna do it? Like you're gonna get the bug of I'm gonna wail on everything now.
Definitely not whale on everything, but I've already got half of it already done. And
Yeah,
Ayla's already set. I mean, she's not at relics, but she's already 7 stars. So that's part of that team,
Yes,
and then
big time.
Jakaz to come in shortly.
Yeah, I saw this and I was very interested how you had the temple guard at 7 star because I don't know why I forget what I was doing and I pulled it up and I was like, holy shit.
That was the $30 pack, and then the 75 after,
But see, like that's
and it put
compare.
me 3 shards shy of 100, and I was like, oh, I gotta at least buy the singular pack and to get my 5 shards.
And you pulled like 80 or you got
I wish. I got 7.
yeah you got you got the 330 pull.
Oh, that would have been great.
So are you gonna do again like same thing with your dark side clones like you can get the your dark side clones at least somewhat up and running with your Tarkin and this is another like point that I don't know if people fully recognize it, but you're going to be able to score a lot of points on like the lower tier. Like Tarkin at Relic 7 is potentially going to be able to solo the level 0 tier with your dark side clones.
Yeah,
Like I
Tarkin, the work they did on him is
oh
I've seen videos of Beaver just destroying everything.
yeah, Tarkin's legit. Cuz I even did when I was doing the crate dragon raid with Jawas. My Jawas are garbage tier. Like I didn't buy the Lightspeed bundle, so my Jawas are trash. And between Jawa himself, and these guys here at gear 9 across the board, and then Relic 3, I was getting the max score in the crate raid every single 300,000 points every single time that raid came up. And I know that
Heck yeah,
sounds
I love Jawas.
and I know that sounds silly, but there's probably a lot of players who are going to have Tarkin at whatever Relic 7 or Relic 3 or whatever. And so Tarkin is going to be able to solo the potentially the lowest tier with those clones simply because he's at this ridiculously high relic level. So I don't think people are going to be in as bad of places as they think on this, even with the timing being a 2-week turnaround, which I still think is absolutely insane.
Oh, that's absolutely correct. So I was watching Three Scoundrels last week, and they were talking about the new Jawa datacron. And Logan was going on about how not many people are going to have the team at relics, and that's going to hurt the use. And I was like, and I popped in chat. I was like, hey, you might want to pull that up on Swago because a lot more people have relics on this team than you think because of all
Mm-hmm.
the amount of bundles that people buy. So, with that in mind, how many people bought this Lord Vader bundle?
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
gosh, yeah. It's
like
got to
that's a
be.
lot of people.
Let's see if I can pull this up here and just go to like Grandma Tarkin here. Units, player data, which I don't know if everybody notices, but I switch back and forth between data and data like no other. Half the time I do it on purpose just because I know some people get annoyed by that. So here we go. All right, so here's Grandma Tarkin right here. So there's 131,000 Relic 7 Grandma Tarkins in the game. And some people are going to say that doesn't sound like that big of a number, but there's 67,000 Relic 3. And the 67 Relic 3 is important because that's the Sith Eternal Relic level requirement. So 131,000 of us have him Relic 7, whether through Lord Vader or because of that new bundle. And that to me that's a significant change there of how many people have him at relics.
So when you look at the strategy you were talking about, where Tarkin's gonna rule this raid, I think that's your number right there is 100, and that many people are gonna be scoring this well because of him.
Yes. And all you got to do, I think it is five. I think it's a 5-star minimum, right? You got to be at least 5 stars to enter the raid. So there's a little bit of work to be done for the Vanguard or your dark side clones to get them in shape. So there's some of that going on, and I know some people won't like that, but you can underman, there'll be ways to get around that. But I think you'll be able to score, even if you have 5 teams scoring the bare minimum points. If you can get 5 teams to max the 300,000 tier because of relic levels, you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Because that kind of leads into how they changed, and I don't know if you'd had a chance to really deep dive this, but the new milestones versus the old milestones from Battle for Naboo.
I didn't. I'm going to have to look at that.
So this is where I feel a lot of the argument on not good for free to play kind of flies out the window, because they've added a new box and reduced the tiers on a bunch of them. They did increase some, but they've reduced a lot of tiers to, I feel, more level set to go to the next crate. It's not this massive leap from where your relic investments were.
I gotta see how the play mechanics come out too, because I know one of the things that drove me absolutely crazy about the Naboo raid was the enrage meter.
Yes.
And just how RNG could totally screw you.
But they did take that away. Right? Like they changed the Naboo raid to take that away. If you think about how much they took away the bonus turn for the command droid. Right?
I still had to try it a couple times with some teams.
Yeah, but it's not like, I will say it's not like it was. When it was first there, that was ridiculous. But you look
they did get better with it.
Where I'm really looking is right in here in box 5 and box 6. I mean, you're looking here to get box 5 to get 2,000 Mark III raid currency, which is enough for what? 10 arrow magnifiers, right? They're like, I think that's enough for 10 arrow magnifiers. If I go to my raid, let's go down here. Yeah, so it's 1,000 to get 5, so 2,000 would get you 10. Math. Agnards would be so proud of me. So to get to that point, you don't even need 1,000,000 points per player. That's not hard. That's not hard. There's no way you're not going to be able to score 1,000,000 points with all, even like where your account is, with all of the stuff you have, right? And then to go to the next tier, 63.5 million. I mean, that's not even 1.5 million points at that point. I think some of the popular reaction here would have been for me to come out and say, this is the worst raid ever, whales only, CG hates us, screw everything, I hate life. But I think overall this is a very solid change.
Oh yeah, I do think it's going to take a little bit for a lot of players to get there. 1 million out of the gate, it's doable, but outside of, okay, say you use this bad batch where they are, 3,000 points. I guess you would have to max it with a bunch of teams, and you're not going to have the full Dark Side Clone Troopers available to farm. In 2 weeks, you'll get CRX.
CX2, yeah.
Or CX2. So we'll have half of them available to farm at launch.
Yes. But the other thing too that's I find interesting with this change, if you kind of like keep reading through it, is like and I know this is kind of, for some people this is going to be way further ahead, but like where my guild is, we're at the 416 crate for the Naboo raid. And for us to hit this was still a little bit of, okay, like I have a Relic 9 team, I've got 2 Relic 7 teams, and I've got 2 Relic 5 teams, and I score enough that it's, I don't need to worry about it. But the 375, if it was that, I only needed 4 Relic 7 teams and a team to get me 300,000 points. So the difference in this tier and the tier 9 for a lot of guilds is, I think, right sizing that you don't need to do quite as much to get there, and that your jump to the next crate is still a little bit more significant, which I think that's a positive change. Because it wasn't, like, for me to get more points in the raid, it's literally Relic 8 teams. And that's just insane for what the reward would have been. But to go from here to where we are now, like, that would feel a little bit better. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like it makes sense in my head. But it's also, it's me, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So where does your guild land in Naboo raid right now?
In the Naboo raid, currently, we ran... Pulling it up. Our last one was between 130 and 90.
Between
like,
where?
Right in the middle.
Oh, between 130 and you said 90?
Yeah, so 130, 90, 40, so about 110.
Okay. So for you guys, you're not going to move. For you to get a similar score, you'd need to score like 98 million, give or take. Right? To not lose anything day one, which that's not even 2 million points per person. And you figure...
Yeah, I do about 2 million now.
And you figure, like, your pirates... And this is just, again, I'm glad, you think about, like, your pirates. You've only got a couple of them, but you realistically could take them at, like, the Relic 1 tier or the Gear 12 tier and increase your score. And it's a little bit harder of a difficulty, but not to the degree that, like, Naboo was for a while there, where, like, it didn't matter if you weren't at the Relic 5 tier, you were scoring 0. But you go to, like, the crate raid, I could do more damage on a Gear 12 tier than I could at a Relic 1 tier for some teams.
To be honest, I didn't have many teams at Relic 5 for this. Like, my Gungans, I have 2 at Relic 1 and 2 at Gear 12. Like, and they're one of my better teams.
Yeah, the Gungans, this is why I think the raid with these teams, like the Bad Batch and Pirates, Dark Side clones, I think they're all going to be very good because of how Gungans and Queen Amidala performed in this raid. I don't think CG is going to go backwards on that.
I hope not. I think they're definitely going to move forward with it. I see them going more towards the whales and free to play, but
now you say that, but how many Lightspeed bundles have you purchased with your 7-star Temple Guard?
How many did they have?
So, and I'm only poking fun at you. I don't actually judge anybody.
Let me actually pull. I have it all Google sheeted out. I didn't add the last 4 in.
But it's do you get the argument there that, like, you can't kind of tongue in cheek say bad for whales only and then be part of the problem.
Okay, 45 Lightspeed bundles.
Oh my god, there's 45 of them?
I have 42 through Cup, and then they had, or 41 through Cup because they get line 1 is the date and name and everything, and then there was 4 after the 2 Vaders. 45? So yeah, about 45 bundles total.
That makes my
And
head hurt.
through cup that was $879.59.
Holy head. So, now, do you have every single one, or are there some that you have?
I'm missing one, and that was the Cyanogenga.
What about like the ones that took like the first order and the resistance to like Relic 6? Did you get those?
First sort, no, I did not.
Okay, because
I
those were
had
other.
them at Relic 5 way back when they
Yeah,
were first released.
yeah, because they released the new ones now where it's like Relic 6 or whatever.
I really did toy with the idea because I was like, man, that many characters. Like I was doing the math, like what would the different would the save Kyrotech and everything be worth it?
It,
No, no.
yeah, it's the Relic 6. I mean, the Relic 6 stuff is crazy good. I can't say that it's not really good and beneficial, but I don't know that I would have bought them had I had the Relic 5s.
Yeah, I decided against it because that was just too I couldn't justify what for $30 to get all them characters up.
Yes. Yeah, it was a lot. It was significant. So, as, you're thinking through how and what I think could be an interesting, especially for where your account is, you could track like what your last Naboo score was and then how long it takes you to reach that same score in this raid and where your guild matches up. Because I feel for a lot of guilds, a lot of players where like my account is going to be of zero help with this raid is I'm already starting with stuff that just is not going to happen for other people for a long time. But you will have that opportunity to be able to say, "Hey, it didn't take me that long to get to 2 million points, or it took me forever to get to 2 million points."
Writing that down in a video idea.
There you, perfect. See? Because I think that's where your channel can help a lot of the players who are sitting there with the this is Wales only, maybe not seeing how this score sheet, and that's why I was spent so much of my video today just staring at this, is because this was the best. This is some of the best news that they've ever dropped, where they're trying to even out those tiers so that way there's a clear cut stop here, stop here, stop here.
There. I got a little baby Yoda notebook.
I love it. I
Yeah, I
love it.
watched that video. It was a really good video.
We try. We try.
I mean, all your content's good. I,
I
obviously,
let's not go too far now.
hey, hey, okay. So I gave Egnards a little love in his stream the other day. I've been following you for what, year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I
I have
can't
to
say
go.
that I haven't found one video useful. Like you have kept me playing. Like
Ah,
I messaged you that one time where I was like, "Man, I'm losing it," and then just watching your videos kept me going through. So
you're gonna make me blush. No, the channel is here to. I tell a lot of people. I long time ago made up my mind that I can't be screaming in my basement dressed up as Grand Admiral Thrawn and wearing crazy like what sunglasses and waving lightsabers. Like that's just it's not going to be
you
an
got to have the Crocs in there, and
well, I mean, let's hold on. Crocs are a staple in my house. In fact, mine you can't even see when I put them on because they're so beautiful and camo. But
I don't work. I don't let my kids do them because I have a friend who lives just bought a house out in the country, and her kids wore Crocs all the time, and they stepped on one, or they stepped on a nail, and it went through the Croc into her foot,
mm,
and it got like severely infected because of the material that the Crocs were made of.
Yep.
So since then, I'm like, oop, nope, no cracks.
Me, my two little girls all wear Crocs. My wife does not have a pair yet. She can't bring herself to wear them, but I wear mine all the time. She hates it.
I love it. Your wife is awesome.
But yeah. Give me one sec. Speaking of my wife, she just asked if I can grab her something. So why don't you do you want to start reading through one of the kits? Do you have a kit that you
Sure. Let
wanted to
me.
cover first?
Uh, uh, start with Depa.
All right. I will be right back, folks. I'm gonna grab a beer too while I'm at it. Once this thing decides to load, it takes six
Go
centuries.
to my data mines here.
Come on.
Scroll all the way up through all this news.
There we go. All right. I've got it on. I've got it on this. We'll start with key attributes and stuff. And if I have to scroll down, just yell at me.
All right. Uh, so key attributes. I will start at the top. So light side attacker, uh, Galactic Republic, Jedi Vanguard. Key attributes: attacker for the new Jedi Vanguard squad led by Jedi Master Mace Windu. Synergy without to turn attacks and Shatterpoint. Um, Final marquee unit for the Revenge of Sith era. Inspiration Depa Billaba was the Padawan to Mace Windu and Master to Caleb Doom, aka Canon Jarrus. As such, we have subtle nods to both Mace Windu, Shatterpoint, and Canon. 70% counter chance of recovery from being inflicted with a debuff in her abilities. The animation for Will of the Council is from the first episode of The Bad Batch, where she fights off her own clone troopers to save her Padawan from Order 66. The title you earn for Tier 4 of her marquee is Hotwire, which was the secret identity Depa took on when investigating the Riftwalkers pirates from the novel The Living Forest. Strategy tips. Depa gains benefits when attacking out of turn, so finding ways to call her to assist will help her damage scale. When facing Depa, preventing her from attacking out of turn is an effective avenue to try and shut her down. Though she is a stalwart and effective addition to the other Jedi teams, she is at her best when partnered alongside Jedi Master Mace Windu. And Depa is an aggressive attacker, but her offensive stats are a bit on the low side. Or her defensive stats are a bit on the low side. Keeping her safe with tanks or defensive mechanics of her abilities will be crucial to her survivability. Mod
I
set bonus recommendations: offense times 4, crit chance times 2.
I love that they say like her defensive stats are on the low side. So she's basically a glass cannon, right? Like that's what
Yeah.
that's what we're getting at here. But think about how many datacrons have defense baked into them, or like the light side special 15 and 15. They're gonna make sure that this team is protected, just like Ahsoka is, with whatever datacron necessary to keep it ridiculous. Like, let's just all face the music on that one.
Oh, yeah. Those data crowns are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, she kills me. Thank God for Leia.
she's the go-to for everything right now.
She is my BL. I mean, she's my flagship character. I love her to death.
Yeah, I use her. That's my arena team. Yeah. So what the
Yeah.
next? Yeah, what's the next? So okay, it's going live soon. Whatever.
How do I unlock Depth Available? She will be the marquee event starting at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, June 17th. Is she required for Jedi Master Mace Windu? Yes, she is the final requirement for him. Coming in at, I'm sure no one saw this coming, be at Relic 5.
I
Who is
was I
that?
was I thought she'd be relic 3.
I did too. I was like, man, she's gear 12. You don't need relics for her. You
Yeah.
just want her to hit hard, right?
Yeah, I like that. If you a lot of offense never needs high relics. Drogon doesn't hit hard at relic 9.
No, not at all. Who is the ideal fifth for the new Jedi Vanguard team? There are many Vanguards to choose from, but Ayla Secura receives a rework in this release to make her particularly good here.
One
Is
thing
it
to
one
note,
eye or two eyes?
yeah,
Two. Philippa.
I will also say, like, Ayla has a Zeta now, which for many people in chat and for my co-host here, that's like, telling her that she has to go to the doctor and get a shot with a needle like this big around.
Yes.
I I'm glad it's only one Zeta, but it does that it's a Zeta. Like where they who was the one character they just touched up? Tarkin. It was Tarkin. They just touched up all of his abilities. They didn't add a Zeta to him to make him work. They just touched up everything. Ayla, they went the Darth Vader route and just added a whole new ability. I don't know if people have seen it yet. We'll show it at some point, but it's very different than what they did for
Oh, did they
Tarkin.
touch up her look too? Looks
Let
like
me
they
see.
touched up her model.
They've been doing. I mean, they've done it a lot recently. I don't know why they have to wait for, you know, us to do stuff all the time. Like, oh, we're gonna make the character better, so here's a new kit or here's a new artwork. Oh, all right. So the basic deal
All
physical
right, basic.
damage to target enemy during Deppa's turn. Inflict vulnerable. If it's not Deppa's turn and all allies were Vanguard at the start of battle, this attack deals 25% more damage, stacking until her next turn. So the more you get her to assist, the more damage she's going to be able to deal. So you're going
Which
to want to.
Ayla's basic is going to be insane with that.
Yes. Yeah, if the assisting ally is Jedi, they deal 50% more damage, although it's only a 35% chance. And it's a random ally, unfortunately. If only it was like Shin and I could pick who gets to assist me every single time.
Right? That'd be great.
All right. Next one. You can read this one.
Okay. Special one. Uh, I always say my Star Wars name's weird. I want to say Vaped,
Vaped.
but Vaped Disciple. Uh, inflict healing immunity for 2 turns and deal physical damage to target enemy. Depa gains Hell Steel up for 2 turns. If Jedi Master Mace Windu is in the leader slot, the ability deals 50% more damage. Call Jedi Master Mace Windu to assist twice.
Yikes. That's going to be
That is
gnarly.
vaped.
And to me, this gives me the impression that you're going to want to use, at least I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this screams to me that I want to use her with Mace as much as possible.
She seems like the Ben Solo to Rey. You can't
Yeah,
really separate the two.
at least so far. I'm curious to see. The question is, where do you throw Jocasta? Where do you throw Temple Guard? Because you do have that Keller and Beck lead as an option for another Vanguard team. So there is a we are gonna have to. That's gonna be interesting. I'm curious to see where she ends up with that. But calling him to assist twice just sounds so broken.
And can we talk about that animation? That looks clean. I love
I
that.
mean, their new animations are so much better. It's not like Veers and Stark where it's like the same animation and the same exact character just with different colors.
That just looks so clean and nice.
So now we've got the special 2 Will of the Council. So this has a Zeta on it. Um, if Jedi Master Mace is the allied leader, dispel all buffs on all enemies. And if any enemies have investigation, they gain a stack of investigation for 2 turns. All the garbage. Deal bonus physical damage to all enemies with Shatter Point. Then deal physical damage to all enemies. Inflict Shatter Point, excluding raid bosses and GLs, on enemies. This bonus damage was dealt to until the end of the encounter. Interesting. So, if you had Shatter Point at the start of this ability, you're going to get bonus damage. Then you're going to get damage again. And then you're going to have Shatter Point on you until the end of the fight. Jedi Vanguard allies gain critical damage up and defense pen up for 2 turns. Depa and Mace gain Foresight for 2 turns. When this expires, she gains 100% turn meter. When this Foresight expires from Mace, he gains protection up for 2 turns. Holy Hannah.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, but you won't be able to use the first little paragraph or the third. But for people who aren't going to have Mace Windu on the Jedi Master Mace Windu for a little bit, with the whole deal physical damage, that middle paragraph, you could potentially use just normal Mace Windu in that slot.
Yes, but
and still get that Shatter Point.
But she'll lose any Vanguard bonuses, right? Because he's not a Vanguard.
Oh, no, he's not. Oh, darn.
Yeah, I'm just
for
looking.
Naboo.
I'm looking now. I don't think he is.
Yeah, leader, Galactic Republic, Jedi Fleet Commander, and Battle for Naboo.
I do like the thought. I like the thought process. It's a bummer he's not Vanguard, and I wonder if your theory crafting is exactly that reason, that they do not want that at all happening whatsoever. But what I think is interesting here is in regards to the raid, dealing physical damage to all enemies, any AoE attacks are always good. And, you know, if you go back to the raid, we didn't really cover this much because it's not like the way you score points, but like if you defeat like a disguised clone trooper or nightfall trooper, you're going to earn score. So there's a potential here where her AoE is going to just feed you points because you're going to be defeating, I'm assuming they're going to be weaker enemies because they're only worth 5,000 points compared to Oppo or Fox. So it seems like they would be an easier target, that her AoE attack is going to be generating you a lot of score. So I thought that was interesting. I like that. All right, unique one. And this is her. And this is her only unique, and this has a Zeta and an Omicron. If you want to read that
one. Unique one. Nothing and everything. Depa has 70% counter chance, or plus 70% counter chance, plus 25% offense, and recovers 15% health and protection whenever she is inflicted with a debuff. If Mace Windu is in the leader slot, Depa gains 30% turn meter at the start of each encounter. Each encounter. That could be key. And whenever he uses an ability, Depa gains 25% critical chance or critical damage for 2 turns. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with Shatter Point, Depa gains advantage for 2 turns if all allies were Jedi Vanguard at the start of battle. Whenever an enemy is defeated, if they had stacks of investigation, the next time a Jedi Vanguard uses a special ability and the target was not revealed, they inflict a stack of investigation for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Whenever an enemy gains a stack of investigation, Depa gains speed up to 2 turns. While in territory battles, Jedi Vanguard allies gain 200% max health and offense. At the start of each encounter, Jedi Vanguard tanks gain 200% bonus protection until the end of the encounter. Whenever a Jedi Vanguard ally uses an ability, they remove 10% meter from their target enemy. Whenever a Jedi Vanguard ally defeats an enemy, all Jedi Vanguard recover 50% health and protection and gain damage immunity and speed up for 3 turns. And whenever a Jedi Vanguard ally is damaged by an enemy, all other Vanguard gain 10% turn meter. Enemies can't be revived. Felt like I was reading a book.
It is a book, but holy hell,
I can tell you I'm not putting her Omicron on. Probably will. Territory battles.
that is a insane Omicron for light side. The enemies can't be revived. Almost every single light side battle starting on Baraka, the stormtroopers revive. The Empire allies, the
Right.
Empire enemies revive. They come through with that dumb buff. This stops that. So that makes those fights how much faster? And then damage immunity for 3 turns. It doesn't take with this team. I'm assuming you're gonna just constantly be in damage immunity after your first couple of turns, where you've had that bonus protection,
I
right?
think this definitely that whole Jedi battle in the light side where you need the 5 Jedi, this pushes Luke right out of that slot.
Yes, it does. I would, yeah, 100%. And where's the other part of it? Like I thought it was very interesting where they said Depa gains 30% turn meter at the start of each encounter. Where that's going to be really crazy is if you preload this team and she's already got some turn meter, she's going to gain another 30% on top of that, right? Like, I think that's the phrasing there will work that way. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in chat. But I
And
feel
I
like,
like that that's not part of her Omicron. That's her Zeta.
yes, yeah, that's a really big, to me, that is going to make this team that much more challenging to clean up is when the preloaded turn meter is hard enough, but even if you like retreat out, she still starts with that 30% turn meter. So the only way you're going to be able to stop that is with someone like Hux. He's the only character that can stop it at the start. I don't know, maybe Jedi Master Kenobi can, but like even Lord Vader won't stop that. I don't think he'll stop that right away. I could be wrong. Maybe if you start with your damage over times on one of the clones and I just forget the kit. But that's so crazy. 30% turn meter.
The only thing maybe like a CLS getting
Yeah,
that first shot off.
yeah, but you get your bonus turn first, that's for sure. With Han. But it just depends. Are you going to target? Do you need to target her with Han, or do you need to target like Mace or somebody else?
I think you got to go Ayla. Take out that assist.
Yeah, that's just so nuts. But I'm wondering.
It's weird that
I'm
you want to go Ayla first. You're like, oh yeah, maybe kill Ayla, get rid of that assist.
Yeah. The only thing with her is it's only 35% though, so it's only like now it'll feel when you're doing it, it'll feel like 35%. When it's against you, it'll feel like 35% 100% of the time.
Oh yeah,
It's like when Jar Jar gets his
30.
death. I've never seen my Jar Jar get death mark on a Traya, but I've watched my Traya get death marked 50,000 times in GAC.
I've never actually got mine Jeff Mark because I don't use her against that. But
Yeah, I, too many times have perfect RNG and you lose. I mean, I still win the fight, but you lose all these damn banners because of it. Don't get my
oh,
protection back.
I don't know if you've noticed that I just saw Caracal pop up in the chat. Big shout out to Caracal. He's another newer CC.
What's up, boss man?
He's a pretty cool guy. He's got some good stuff. But
Go, man.
there's another CC up and coming.
There you go. Cheers, my friend. So now let's read Mace Windu's kit because it's going to go obviously hand in
Okay.
hand with Deppa's kit. Holy hell, that's bookish.
Yes, his is I believe his also includes some of Ayla's too.
So you asked, we delivered. Powerful attacker. They say this cat Mace is a bad. See, this is where I love Meathead. That's so funny. New
Shut your
investigation
mouth.
revealed. Did we mention this version is an attacker? So, the Shatterpoint debuff being applied via basic is paying homage to the original version. Okay. So Sith, this was a big thing that I think Wombat even pointed this out. Because they were able to fly under the radar for decades, Sith are immune to being revealed. So what I find interesting with this is this basically means that they're still going to let Bane run all over this team.
Here's Ayla's updated Satan stuff in the FAQ.
Oh, okay. So only one enemy can be investigated, so be tactical. Calculate when you use a special one as it does loads of damage. Ayla's added unique makes her the perfect addition. And they're saying speed and health. I mean, why not? May as well just be speed health.
That's what we use everywhere else. Might as well.
So this is interesting right here. His legendary event starts the same day as the raid. So raid starts, Mace drops. That's going to be a busy Arnold day on stream for him. Lasting for a week. His return is subject to change, but currently planned to be at the end of the following era. So that's what, September timeframe? Right? I think that's the end of the following era.
Yeah.
It has to be like 3 months or whatever. Is he good in the raid? This is like those posed questions that they have at like the political debates where it's like, do you like religion? And it's like, yes. And it's like, oh, I wonder where that question came from. Like just planting people in the crowd. Come on, man. We can at least do a little bit better. And again, they talk about, they've, I gotta say, they have
Can
really...
you lower gas prices? Yeah.
They have really hammered home that the team that you use is Temple Guard, Deppa, Jocasta, and Ayla. Like, they have every single time that one of these characters comes out, they're telling you what the team is. And that is, I think, very interesting in telling you that all of their kits somehow, some way have been designed to operate together. And I think we see that with Mace's kit, but I found that find it very interesting how much they've driven that home. They normally they didn't always tell us how to use a character.
I love that Ayla came out of nowhere though too.
Yes.
Back when we were talking about doing a video, like I was gonna touch up that I thought Luminaria was gonna be the 5th, and then just out of nowhere, it's like that day, here's the release, it's gonna be Ayla.
Sorry, I'm getting yelled at in chat that I got the days wrong, that it's 1 day before the raid instead of 2. My apologies, chat. So, the Zeta for Ayla, I know it's long because I was trying to read it in game when I was equipping it, and I'm like, yeah, it's too long, just equip. So now the way I read this was there's like a paragraph here, and then there's a paragraph here. So I want to read this one first because I think this will apply to more players immediately, where if all allies were Jedi Vanguard at the start of each encounter and there are no Galactic Legend enemies, Whenever an enemy attacks at a turn, all vanguards recover 15% health and protection, and the ally they attacked dispels all debuffs on themselves. If an enemy is called to assist, all other enemies lose 8% turn meter, which can't be resisted. So that is going to work with Keller and Beck. If you put her with your Keller and Beck team, as long as it's all vanguards. So there is going to be a figuring out how to make a Keller and Beck team and still have your legacy Qui-Gon team. But that's going to give people a way to utilize Ayla earlier than Mace Windu. Because
Maybe
then the
like
next,
Keller and Qui-Gon.
I don't know that I put Qui-Gon in there. I'm thinking GAC. I'd put Qui-Gon, Cam, Anakin, and do like Keller and Ayla and other people. Or even like for a while, like I'll probably be using Jocasta, Kellerin, and Ayla in the same team now.
Shakti.
Yeah.
Get some offense on there.
Yeah, make it stupid. Like we got to make this team as ridiculously hard as possible. At the start of battle, if Jedi Master Mace Windu is in the leader slot and there are no other Jedi Vanguard attackers with a leader ability, so that's directly calling out that you're not to use Keller and Beck because he's an attacker. At the start of each encounter, inflict all enemies with defense down for 2 turns. Yowza. All Vanguard allies gain 30% health, potency, tenacity until the end of battle, and 30% max protection until the first time she's defeated. Holy. Okay, so that's good for Jocasta. She gains 50% critical chance, tenacity, 30% defense, and 5% offense per relic amplifier level. So she's always going to critically hit. If possible, she's critically hitting. Because mine at Relic 5 has 250% critical chance and tenacity. And that's going to be a problem. Which this goes into the other thing they've done a lot. I don't know if you've seen it, Allie, where they do a lot of stuff where it's per amplifier relic level.
I've noticed that.
They are encouraging you to go to Relic 9. They are giving everybody, hey, go full R9.
For a while, that was unheard of outside of like GLs.
Yes. 100%. They've really taken that out of GLs and said we're giving this to everybody. Whenever Ayla stuns an enemy from her abilities, all vanguards recover 20% health. Jeez. Whenever Ayla critically hits, she gains 8% crit chance and crit damage stacking until the end of the encounter. And if that enemy had a stack of investigation, they gain another stack for 2 turns. Whenever she uses a special, call a random other Jedi Vanguard attacker ally to assist, and Jedi Vanguard allies recover 25% health and protection. So Jedi Vanguard attacker ally. Now, let me look here, because they said Mace is an attacker, correct?
Correct.
Depa is an attacker. And Jocasta is an attacker. So while that sounds awesome, you have a 1 in 3, like it's like there's so many attackers in that team to call that like you don't know which one you'd want. And then the last part we'd already read. So I mean that is an insane boost there. Like this is basically a leadership.
So I'm looking at like that second all Jedi Vanguard gain 30% max health, potency, and tenacity up. I'm kind of looking at a Luminara lead where you get health equal to 8% of Luminara's max health at the start of each of their turns.
Oh, from the heal over time or whatever? Or is there another mechanic I don't know?
This is her leader. Jedi allies gain 15% evasion and recover health equal to 8% of Luminar's max health at the start of each of their turns. Non-Jedi allies receive half the evasion bonus and heal effect whenever any ally gains a buff they do not have. They gain a heal over time effect for 2 turns.
Oh, okay. I can't say I've read that kit since she was meta back in like 2016 or whatever it was.
I've been looking at her a lot since this Naboo raid.
Yeah, so that now I'm wondering, do you use Ayla with Mace or do you throw Ayla with like it's gonna be an interesting split. There's a very interesting split that you're gonna have to figure out on how to maximize these Jedi Vanguard. Because
You don't want her in that that team with him as a lead, because he's an attacker.
yeah, so you'd have to have her. So this kind of that's right. Good eye. So you basically, to get the best part of her unique, you have to use her with Mace.
Unless you went like a Qui-Gon lead or Luminara, because they're both support. Luminar is a healer.
Well, I guess the whole first whatever paragraphs are reliant on Mace being the leader. So like I think the way I read this is that all of this stuff is reliant on Mace being the leader, and that this is a separate if statement.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So the bullet points would all be a part of if he's the leader and there are no other Jedi attackers with a leader ability.
Yes.
All right, I'm picking up what you're putting down now.
Yeah. So now she's got to go with him because that's way too good to pass up. Like yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. That she's with him.
All right, so I know you want to read this next part.
Okay. Where are we? To let it guide you.
We read that. We're down on the why is there a call out?
Okay.
Your favorite part of this.
Oh, okay. So this is my all-time favorite part of this kit. Like, I haven't laughed as hard as I did in a meathead kind of joke. Why is there a Jedi Knight Anakin call out in Jedi Master Mace when his leader Omicron if he isn't a Jedi Vanguard? Because Anakin did not get the rank of Master. Get wrecked. The line, if there is an ally Jedi Knight Anakin, he does not gain the mastery increase, is just a fun nod to the iconic moment of Anakin not being granted the rank of Master. I love it.
Yes. That is great meathead, fun, CG, good job to just like throw. I mean, that's literally a completely useless line of text. Like, that does not need to be anywhere in there. But it needs to be there. So then
I'm looking at it right now. I'm not seeing it in the game because it says the leader Omicron. Whatever, Jedi Vanguard. Yeah, I don't see it in the game.
No, yeah, it's there. Jedi allies gain it's in the when in territory wars. Jedi gain 10% mastery per revealed enemy, 20% if they are Jedi Vanguard until the end of the encounter. If there's an allied Jedi Knight Anakin, he does not gain the mastery increase. Which is, it's so funny because like he's not a Jedi Vanguard. So like we already know he's not getting like we already know he's not getting it. and it's just rubbing salt in the wound, and I love it. I think it's so funny.
I kind of want to throw him on the team just for the get.
You you can do that. I won't be, but that's because I'll get yelled at by somebody in my guild. That I will that will happen. All right, and
I
so
love
and
that.
then RoboMelon did say, I think a bunch of people are saying this too in chat. It seems like all of Ayla's unique is completely reliant on Mace Windu. That when you look at it in game, it looks all connected. So let me see if you guys are, if we're onto something here. Yeah, at the start of battle, if yes, okay, I see what you guys are saying. That you have this if at the start of battle, and then all of these bullet points underneath it. So it's also a sense, and I wonder if this is a, I'm wondering if that's a way to stop throwing like an Ezra in there, or some of the other Jedi who, you know, obviously are very, very good. Like, I wonder if they're really trying to keep out any of the riffraff they don't want in this team.
Do you imagine a Hazard here?
Oh my god. It just would be, it'd be so broken. So broken. All right, so the
I'm glad
basic
he's
is,
not a Vanguard.
so the basic is Shatterpoint. And you want to talk about animations. I mean, that is clean. Cuz that's the motion that he does, like when he goes to attack Sidious. He does that, like he's got it behind his, you know, back here, and then brings it, and it tells you how much I've watched that movie. But like they've both got their lightsabers back, and then they bring it forward in like a really powerful, you know, like parry. Man, yeah, I'm such a nerd. I know.
Aren't we
So
all?
that,
We're talking Star Wars.
yes. Deal physical damage to target enemy, and if all allies were Jedi Vanguard at the start of battle, inflict them with Shatterpoint, excluding raid bosses, until end of encounter, which can't be copied, all that crap. If they had Shatterpoint, reduce the cooldowns by 1. If they had 1 stack of investigation, he gains speed up for 1 turn. So that
That's
is,
nasty for a basic.
yeah. The cooldown increase is going, or decrease is going to be nuts, especially for Jocasta for her rifle. Okay, hold on. Can we
Um,
all can we all appreciate that this is called Decapitation Strike? Like, they are, that is an all-time goat name of an ability. Dude, don't
let's
use
not lose our
Boba
head
Fett.
over it.
Don't use Django against this. Deal physical
All
damage to
right.
target. Deal physical damage to target enemy, and if Django Fett is on the enemy team, he's instantly defeated. No, go ahead. I just had to start with the Django Fett joke.
He loses his head.
Yeah.
Yes. Deal physical damage to target enemy, and all Jedi Vanguard allies gain tenacity up for 2 turns. If target enemy was in the leader slot, this damage is doubled. All enemies are inflicted with doubt for 2 turns, and all enemies who already had a stack of investigation gain another. Max of 5 for 2 turns. If the enemy in the leader slot was already defeated, doubt can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. If the target enemy was revealed, the damage is tripled.
That's nuts. That if the slot was, if the leader was defeated, doubt can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Oh.
Is there a way around taunt? And I don't have Jocasta, so I haven't used her, but if you could find a way around taunt and get after that leader.
I think. Let me check if. Where's the description of like Shatterpoint? Where do they talk about his Shatterpoint? Shatterpoint, yes. So receiving damage, Dispel Shatterpoint reduces defense, max health, and offense by 10% for the rest of the encounter. Enemies can ignore taunt to target this unit. So you're going to be able to use Mace to target whoever you want and inflict Shatterpoint to then start wrecking havoc.
And then you want to, so from what I'm seeing already, is you want to start with a basic, inflict Shatterpoint, and then basic again to inflict everyone.
Well, if you do, the basic will inflict it, and then the next time he uses it, if they had it already, you'd reduce the cooldowns by 1.
Wasn't there one that gave Shatterpoint to everybody?
That was Deppa's kit would do something with Shatterpoint on an AoE.
This is the issue with revealing 2 kits at the same time. They just get,
Yeah,
especially 2 long ones. It's like, wasn't there in a bit? Oh yeah, Deppa.
but that again, you bring up my favorite point to bring up when this shit comes out. It's so much information to digest at once. And I get that they're connected, but like we got the Bad Batch, the original Bad Batch, like 2 weeks apart, and we're like, okay, defense up is going to be a thing. Defense up is going to be a thing. Defense up is going to be a thing. And then we finally got Wrecker at the end of it, and it's, oh, defense up is a thing. Like it took us forever to get there, but we kind of could tell it was building to something. So, like, I would have been okay getting this earlier to be like, okay, we don't know what Mace's kit is yet. We'll have to come back to Deppa's. But.
Okay, so yeah, it's Deppa's special 2 that gives it her Zeta. So you could use that outside of it.
And that has a Zeta. That special one has a Zeta, by the way. I know you were waiting for that.
At least it's not an Omicron.
Oh, well, that's why we're at special 2, which has an Omicron. but no Zeta. Because they do, like, if you look at Unique 1, it calls out Zeta plus Omicron. So this is just an Omicron. Dispel all debuffs on all JV allies and deal physical damage to all enemies. All Jedi Vanguard gain offense up for 2 turns. If target enemy had 1 stack of investigation, call Deppa to assist. If target was revealed, call all allies to assist, all Jedi or JV allies to assist. And if Deppa is an ally, she assists again. So
that's nasty.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me, like we've been building to this entire time, it's going to be Deppa and it's going to be Ayla in the Jedi Master Mace kit, or like for 3v3. And then you'll run Keller and Beck, Jocasta, and like Temple Guard or something. Which I just threw up in my mouth a little bit thinking about how annoying a Keller and Beck team is when it has a taunting tank that's capable of taunting.
And so going back to Deppa's, you call her twice on that attack?
Yes.
If it is not Deppa's turn and all allies were, this is her basic. If it is not her turn and all allies were Jedi Vanguard at the start of battle, this attack deals 25% more damage, stacking until the end of her next turn. So that's 50% more damage.
And that's if she hasn't been called to assist before this happens.
With Ayla, yeah.
Yeah. So then you're going to reduce the defense of all enemies by 20%, stacking until the end of the encounter. Inflict revealed enemies with healing immunity and protection disruption for 2 turns, which, again, can't be any of the garbage. Dispelled, evaded, resisted, and all that garbage. And all enemies who already had investigation gain 2 stacks, Max 5 for 2 turns.
It's a territory
Yowza.
wars crown.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be seeing a lot of this apparently because we fight Claw Patrol and shit like that.
Oh,
But this is going to be nuts. That's already a very solid Omicron, and it's not over the top.
no, that's actually pretty. It's not bad. Like,
The
not as far as
20%
being over the
defense,
top.
20% defense is crazy. And that the healing immunity protection disruption. Ooh. It's not fun.
On top of nailing them for 50% more with Depa. And
Yeah, like it I like the like I'll be curious to see the order of operations. Like, does the protection disruption come out first? And then everybody starts assisting. Because then they're
the
only
way
hitting.
the
Go
way
ahead.
I kind of read it is so he hits, dispels all target enemy, and then all that kind of stacks, reduces the 20% stacking, and then that would be his hit, and then come the assist.
Gotcha. Yeah. So they're going to have 20% less damage. Everybody's got offense up. Oh my gosh. And protection is. So they're just going to hit straight health, which is crazy. Ugh.
I mean, chat might be able to, if I'm reading that wrong, please, by all means. I mean, but that's just the way I'm reading it, and from what I've seen using POW and Conquest, is he kind of assists and then does everything.
All right. So you want to read the next one, which is Arrest Warrant, Zeta, and Omicron. Two of your favorite things.
Okay, okay. Arrest Warrant. At the start of the battle, Jedi Vanguard allies gain Foresight for 1 turn. Base ignores taunt effects for 1 turn. Oh, that's
So he gets to inflict Shatter Point on whoever he wants.
to start a battle. He gains Foresight and he ignores effects for 1 turn. So he could just throw it out on the leader, get that Shatter Point, and ignore taunt. And if Depa is an ally, Mace gains 30% max health and 15 speed until the end of battle.
That's just a unique.
If all allies were Jedi Vanguard at the start of a battle, whenever the enemy in the leader slot is defeated, inflict all enemies with low morale for the rest of the encounter, which can't be blah blah blah. And whenever an enemy dispels a debuff, Mace dispels all debuffs on himself. And so whenever an enemy dispels a debuff, Mace dispels all debuffs on himself and inflicts all enemies with buff immunity for 1 turn. Whenever an enemy becomes revealed, all Jedi Vanguard tanks taunt for 1 turn, which can't be dispelled. And if I remember correctly, you want guard to taunt like ASAP. And Mace gains a bonus turn. During the bonus turn, he ignores taunt effects. Mace deals bonus true damage against revealed enemies. This damage can't defeat enemies whenever Mace deals damage to an enemy with at least 1 stack of investigation, inflict them with provoke for 1 turn. Holy
You're not
crap.
even done yet. We still have.
Low morale, minus 25% defense, health, offense, and speed.
That's nuts.
And that's not even the Omicron. Here's the Omicron. While in Territory Wars, at the start of battle, Jedi Vanguard allies ignore taunt effects for 1 turn. During Mace's bonus turn, whenever an enemy becomes revealed, reset the cooldowns of Mace's abilities. Mace gains 30% offense stacking and 10 speed stacking whenever revealed enemies are defeated. Until the end of the encounter, whenever Mace is damaged by a revealed enemy or by an enemy with at least 1 stack of investigation, he recovers 5% health and protection once per turn, gains 5% turn meter once per turn, and inflicts them with speed down for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with Shatterpoint, all Jedi Vanguard allies gain riposte for 1 turn.
Oh my gosh.
That is
Oh my.
huge. How do you beat that?
Oh, I need a minute.
We try
So,
to make sense of all that.
so the big takeaway I'm seeing here is you want him to lead off with his basic to put shatter point on like the leader, get the leader out right away. But like when you like during this bonus turn, he ignores taunt, deals bonus true damage. The buff immunity for 1 turn, whenever he dispels buffs on himself and inflicts all enemies with buff immunity. That's such a tongue twister. I couldn't get it out. That is nuts. Like buff immunity is one of the most devastating abilities that you one of the most devastating debuffs that you have to deal with.
And every time they get it, whenever they dispel a debuff, he dispels all debuffs on himself and inflicts buff immunity for 1 turn.
So if you get the buff immunity and you dispel it, you're gonna re-earn it.
If they have low morale, yeah. Yes, yes. Oh, that's how do they get low morale again? If all allies were Jedi Vanguard, the start of battle.
I think it's once you kill the leader.
Once you kill the leader, it's low morale. Jeez, that's dirty. You're gonna have to bane this. I think that's the only way.
I think yeah, Bane's gonna be a very very good option. Holy just mother of God. Wow. Okay. Uh, Put me down on the yawn counter, guys. we knew we
Oh,
knew
it wasn't me first. Suck it,
we
egg
knew
cards.
we knew it was gonna be me first. We all knew that. At the start of battle, Jedi Vanguards gain 20% critical chance, critical damage, and offense, and 10 speed. If there's an active Depa, she and Mace gain double these stats. Yowza! If
Wow.
all if all
20.
out yeah, so 20 speed on top of the
15 speed at the end until the end of battle for his unique.
ugh. If all allies were Vanguard at the start of battle, defeated enemies can't be revived. And whenever a Jedi Vanguard ally uses an ability on their turn, while no other enemy has a stack of investigation, target enemy gains a stack of investigation for 2 turns. Whenever an enemy attacks out of turn with at least 1 stack of investigation, blind them for 1 turn, which can't be all the garbage, and they gain another stack of investigation for 2 turns. Whenever an enemy gains 5 stacks, they lose all stacks of investigation, dispel all buffs, and they become revealed, which can't be all the garbage. Until the end of the encounter, if an enemy defeats a Jedi Vanguard ally with at least 1 stack of investigation, they instantly become revealed. GLs and Sith enemies can't be revealed. Enemies lose 15% critical damage per stack of investigation. Revealed, immune to investigation stacks, minus 75% critical damage, can't stealth, can't attack out of turn, and are exposed for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resisted at the start of each unit's turn if they didn't already have it. Enemies can ignore taunt effects to target this unit. That expose is devastating. Think about like you have someone you're trying to protect, they get revealed every turn at the start of each unit's turn. they're going to get exposed. So Mace, all of your Jedi Vanguards, they get exposed. On top of a an enemy turn, they're going to get exposed. They're always going to be exposed if they have that revealed.
That's crazy. You could just butcher Leia by exposing Adrad.
Well, yeah, I don't know that there's. I thought that there was some. There's a GL clause in here somewhere. I know there's a GL clause somewhere. I'll have to find it. I'm sure I missed it.
Uh, Galactic Legends and Sith can't be revealed, but
Yeah.
you could still reveal the team.
Yes, I think the only thing there you're gonna run into is your whole goal is to kill the leader, and are we killing Leia right away?
I mean, you want to kill her right away because hitting the other team or hitting her allies just ups her
Yes.
alt.
If Jocasta Nu is an ally, she gains 100% defense, max health, max protection. And this is in Territory Wars. So this is an interesting little tidbit here that they're throwing this in the TW Omicron for her. She can't be targeted until Mace is defeated. Jedi Vanguards can't be instantly defeated. Whenever a Jedi Vanguard ally gains Deflective Ward, all other Vanguards gain until they receive damage. They gain 10% mastery per revealed enemy, 20% if they're a Vanguard. If there's not like Jedi Knight Anakin, he does not gain it. Whenever an enemy gains a stack of investigation, Jedi Vanguards gain 1% mastery stacking until the end of the encounter. Jedi Vanguards take 5% reduced damage from enemies with a stack of investigation, 15 if they are revealed. Wow. Now it says and Galactic Legends
They
can
can
now
now
be
be
revealed.
revealed.
So Territory Wars, this team is going to beat some stuff that we're not fully prepared for it to beat. Holy hell.
Wow.
So this is really, really good. Like, I'm not a Territory War guy, and I like the sound of that.
Immediately right off the bat, I'm looking at the leader final text. You're gaining 50% speed or 50 speed right off the bat. You get 10 plus the 15 from his alt or his unique. You get 15 speed with Depa plus the 10 doubled for the leader.
What is it? I think you're only going to get 35 speed. I don't think you get to double the speed on his unique. Right? Is that like you get the 15 speed up here?
Yeah, that's where my thought was. At the start of the battle, they gain foresight, Mace ignores taunt, and if Depa isn't an ally, he gets 30% max health and 15 until the end of the battle. And then with his leader, it also has the 10.
Which is doubled. And the way it reads is she and Mace gain double these stats. And so I think these is their I feel like there was something that Meat had put out in an update at some point where they were working on updating language and kits to match the functionality, to match like what their wording is now in 2025 rather than some
I like
old
35 way more than 50.
I'd rather have the 50, but
On defense, I'd much rather see 35.
Yeah, that's a fair point. A fair point. Fair play. So we've read the kits. We've gotten the raid. What would you consider like it's pretty easy to tell people just go after Mace Windu because that's like the brand new thing. How do you think Mace will impact your account comparative to, say, like for me, I can tell you that the only reason I'm going for Mace Windu is because that's literally all I have left to do. Like the rest of the journey guide is just open, done. So like Mace is the obvious option. How do you think Mace would help your account compared to maybe building, say, like a Leviathan?
For where I'm at and where a lot of people, I would say I have taken the turn recently, very, very recently, to ROI ever since the Poncho Bros came in. So I
Okay.
look at what the raid could provide me in GAC, and having that kind of team would be super beneficial. I see the ROI in having him for a year. What the raids are on for a year, probably longer. Um, I think that payoff would be beneficial. Basically, you're using all these resources now in hopes that over time I get all those Mark III back.
Yes. It's interesting too. RoboMelon just said this, and I completely agree with this statement, even though it's going to be very unpopular with a lot of people. But I think the biggest benefit of focusing a raid team early is guild mobility, either staying in a guild pushing hard or moving to a guild doing that. And man, that slaps because there's a lot of truth to that sentiment that like it was funny. My guild as a guild officer, we were just having conversations today about all the different things, and not all of us see, which is okay. Not everybody sees eye to eye on raid return and stuff. But I flat out said that I'm like, by the end of the bonus drops, I won't take a single recruit that doesn't have their bad batch at 7-star or like right there. And Zangster, who's in chat, Admiral Thrawn was like, he goes, well, I won't have mine 7-star by then. And I literally said, I'm like, I don't care if this is hypocritical. You're grandfathered in. I expect more of people coming in, and maybe this will stop everybody coming to Sigma Mando, so don't do that. But like that's just the mindset of a guild is like, I'm only gonna take somebody in that's so much better than what I already have. So I like that you're going with this ROI. What is it going to get me? Because I do think that is a trend that we're seeing in this game, that they're moving that direction.
Yeah, I just think it'd be beneficial for like I have all these, which I'm not sure if you saw. I did get Afra.
Oh,
I did unlock her finally. It took that Zeta, but I had to eat that one.
oh, okay, there she is. I was like, where is she at Relics? But she's down here. Okay.
Not at
So
relics, but yeah, that one I had to eat, unfortunately. That one
and that
hurt to apply, but
was that on Hondo.
it was.
But see, you say like, oh, that one hurt to apply, but now you have a raid character. We just,
That's true.
we're just missing, 6 things over to the right hand side.
I actually got to build his set. So a couple months ago, Nooch did a roster review and kind of tore into my mod score because it was a point 0.9.
Oh,
And at my GP, he was like, "Allie, what are you doing?" Um, so here's me overhauling everything. Like I had like 1 2-star mods on people, and I've sold all of it. So here's me building it, and I got my mod score to 2.64 last I looked at it.
there you
Um,
go.
but if you look at like Leia and other characters, you'll see where I spent the time to build up. And even Leia's stuff isn't done, but I'm going character by character, building up
Uh
what I
huh.
can.
Yeah. So
It's
is
like BDSM Ray would be a good example too,
Let's go to her.
because I just unlocked her like last conquest.
Yeah, so you've already made a lot of progress on her mod set.
Because I see a huge return for her because my SLKR was already built. So
Yes.
tossing her up and getting everything, which by the way, that goes to show you how quickly I've upped my account that I could apply the 3 Zetas and 3 Omis.
Yeah. I remember when that was not happening at all.
Yeah. So I tossed that on her since I got her, and it's coming along quicker. But I've focused on certain things, and I've looked at how I could, like, I just stalled my Lord Vader farming to be like, okay, I need gray.
Yes. Yeah, like that's I think that's a really good that's the right mindset to have is let's get the stuff that's going to help me today. So is it safe to say with the investment in Temple Guard now, Mace is the absolute next farm that you are getting, or is there something that will happen in the meantime?
After Lord Vader, I gotta see how it goes because I gotta farm the dark side clones. Pending how fast I could get them, that's gonna change. If I could get them, Mace Windu is 100% the next farm. Um, my other team I'm looking at is Bo-Katan.
Mandos.
Yes, because unlocking Mandalore and Throat and getting those Kairos would be huge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna pretend that that does not make my day every single time I
And
click those rewards.
I did just finish Paz 2 days ago.
Nice. So how short are you on Kyrotech? So it's funny. Somebody commented on one of my videos and basically asked me how the fuck I have as many Kyrotech as I have, and I mean a good portion of those to be brutally honest with everyone, when you buy the episode pass, they give you along the way like this right here. Oh look, I've got 2 full Kyrotech pieces that I can't even use yet because they
I
give
have
you
one
those
Mark
pieces.
9 computer built, ready to
Okay.
go. I have 9 out of 50 to get a second. Um, the shock prod, I'm at 17 out of 50.
Okay. So we're pretty similar on where we're sitting then with our Kyrotech. 4,114 and 4,658.
Oh, you and I are way out. Like I have like 9 out of 50. Yeah,
But I would say
yeah,
if you
I
go
could
back,
take them all to Relic 9 today.
but if I went back to like my account update when we were around the same GP, because I went back, I know we were talking about this. Like I went back and looked at like what my account looked like around your GP, and I'd say the biggest difference was I did have an extra galactic legend over you
Hmm.
because I didn't. Leia had just come out in the game, or yeah, I had an extra GL over you. I didn't have Leia yet, but I had Jedi Master Kenobi, or no, 2 more GLs because I had JML or I had Sith Eternal, Jedi Master Kenobi, and Lord Vader. So I had those GLs, and then I also have all. I had all the capital ships at that point.
The
When
sad part is I'm so close to unlocking like so much in this game. Like I have this is my issue is I have this bottleneck of gas and GI and Afra, and that's all stuff I currently have, and just all these conquest characters. I messaged you last month, and I'm like, oh my god, I got Gray, I got who else did I get? I got Dark Trooper Moff Gideon and Trench. Like 3 guys just dropped in my lap, and I'm just like, okay, this month I'm gonna have Queen Amidala, um, Deadbot Boba, and Malgus.
Just a few
Just unlock
characters.
this month. Yeah, just you know, three huge characters. And that's gonna give me everybody through Luthen.
Okay.
And I have to build all these people up. Like you got it right there. I got the Bad Batch. I have I'd like to get my Ufus up because now that I have to get Seer and Baby Cal up for Zepho, that's more stuff that I have to throw in to help my guild with Zepho. And I just look at all this, and then I got these three other conquest characters coming in. And how do I fix that?
Yeah,
Bo-Katan Mandalore.
yeah, spend more Kyrotech.
Yeah, but that's the only way I could think of is getting her, unlocking Mandalore, and everybody from what I've heard but from so many people is that's your key to Cairo is getting to Mandalore.
It it does help a lot. I'm not gonna say how would I put this? If you are short on Kyrotech today, getting to Mandalore will not overnight you more Kyrotech. Only because the return is still a long way in the future from what you spent. But when you're what'll happen is it'll be like 2, 3, 4 months down the line, you'll start to notice if you're not stopping the rest of your Kyrotech farming, you'll begin to realize that it's picking up. That's kind of what I noticed was I would not have said it was an all at once kind of thing with Mandalore or Zepho that like, oh wow, like it just was like a couple months in, I'm like, wow, I've got a lot of Kyrotech, and you start to do the math and realize that you've been getting however many extra a month. Like between those two planets, I get 280 Kyrotech a month just from Zepho and
Okay, so here's
Mandalore.
a how does it mathematically compare to getting R7 for Pop?
For who?
The Poncho Bros.
Well, they don't return you any Kyrotech.
Oh, not the Karatech, but like the return on your relic material and everything. Is it about the same rate of 3 to 4 months?
No, no, you're gonna get your Kyr. So for Zepho, it is. Let me look here. So Zepho. Oh, it's not gonna show me on here. Um, there it is. So if you click on Jedi Knight Cal just for Zepho, and then I'll just throw him Relic 7, and then click Seer to 13. So for those two, you need, for this farm, you need 2,700 Kyrotech total. And you're going to get 80 a month. Now, not included in that is the guild event currency too. So you get a lot of guild event currency too from that mission. So just based off the Kyrotech you get alone from that planet, just based off the Kyrotech, it's like 3 years to make your money back. And that's then, but if you add in, the you're gonna get guild event currency here. So you're gonna get, like, we got 2,300 guild event currency there.
That's
So you
nice.
so you figure it's like,
I buy nothing but Cairo with that.
yeah, so then you're gonna get, what is it, 325, yeah. So 2,300 divided by 325, that's another 35 Kyrotech, give or take, that I can purchase. So you figure 150 Kyrotech a month, 2,800 divided by 150, you're like a year and a half before you make back your Kyrotech that you spent on Zepho. Whereas Mandalore is far better because you're going to get the same guild event currency to return, but you get 100 Kyrotech instead of 40 per TB.
So
So
that's
of
an
the
extra Cairo per route.
yeah, more than that. It's like 2.5 times or 1.5 times because it goes from 20 to 50. So yeah, it's significantly better to do Mandalore. Now, Mandalore takes a little bit more effort because there's a lot more GP involved and all that fun stuff, but it is significantly better return on your Kyrotech investment.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at how long it would take to get that uh, return. It so like how we push so quickly for Poncho Bros because of the return. Is it the same type of return for Mandalore? I mean, obviously you're looking at different aspects of the game, but is the Cairo return for Mandalore worth it like the relics is for the Poncho
So
Bros?
you're gonna get so you're gonna get what's Bo-Katan's return here? So where's her at? Bo-Katan, and then let's add in Bo. I'll pull this up in a sec once I get the mathin'. All right, pull up the screen capture.
RoboMelon says it's a faster ROI than the relics from POW.
Yeah, so it's another 2,800 Kyrotech to get Bo-Katan Mandalore, but you're going to get 200 alone from a month of TB, and then you're going to get all the guild event currency on that. So it's a lot faster to go the Mandalore route and get your return. Which I think I feel like I mentioned that somewhere, that like Mandalore is significantly better than Zepho. And I think a lot more people would probably agree it's a much easier mission. Like, I find Mandalore, I don't have to remod for the Mandalore mission.
However, I hear the event for that sucked. Whereas the
Sure.
event for Cal Kestis was simple.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. Sure, the event is challenging, but like, I,
Which
would you
that won't
rather?
scare me. I'll still try to min max that.
I mean, there's not. You're just gonna have to. They're all required at Relic 7 anyway. So there's no
Mm-hmm.
like. It's not like Inquisitors or Hondo where there's like an area where you could manipulate it, and with Inquisitors it doesn't make sense anyway. It's yeah, like RoboMelon just said, if your mods are good enough, it's not that challenging. I think I got the BAM tier on like my second try.
Mine is gonna be a do I need all the Zetas?
Yes. But you'll want the Zetas because they're all like, you're using Paz, you're using Grogu in her team.
Right, you're building her team up for her.
Yes. So that's and I know Zetas are rough. But that's my like that's a sticking point for me sometimes. It's like you can't not want to equip a Zeta that you're going to be using all of the time. Cuz they're all very good Zetas. Like they help.
And I know Bo-Katan's somebody that you just stick wherever you can. Like, oh, I gotta beat a Kenobi. Bam.
I yes, but mods will play a role there because I almost lost some of those fights because if they decide to target down your bow, you are screwed. And I had her like Wombat was watching me do it one time, and I was like in the red, and I'm about to like massacre him in chat because like he convinced me to do this. I wasn't gonna do it, and then it worked, but just by like the skin of its teeth.
Oh, Wombat. And then he probably like talked himself up like, oh, I told you it would work.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he gave me the whole "I told you so" and "you're an idiot and you suck," but deservedly so because it did work. So, you know,
Barely,
hey,
barely.
it barely counts in every form of the word. What's the first person they call that graduates med school? Doctor. And what's the last person that graduates med school called? Doctor. It doesn't matter after
Close
that.
only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and Swigo.
Yeah. I wish close counted here. So, Allie, let me ask you this. Final question for you before we let everybody go, because I've talked for so long. I'm sure they could hear you talk more, but I know everybody gets sick and tired of hearing me ramble.
Nah, that's not true. It's the other way.
What is your gut reaction to this raid in the sense, go back to Naboo. Naboo at the start was a disaster. You couldn't do the lower tiers. Everybody called it the whale raid. Like, here we are again. Everyone calling it the whale raid. Do you think that the tiers are going to be fixed? Do you think it's going to be playable for people day one? Or do you think that it's just going to be a disaster and we're all screwed?
I think it's gonna be a mixture of both. Um, if you're looking to get good rewards right off the bat, it's probably not gonna happen. Unless you're, Arnold or the Cause or any of them, and you have all these characters at R9 just ready to go. Old Man Logan, he's probably gonna do pretty good. Um, so I could see them throwing off pretty big scores, but like my account, you're gonna see me probably where I am now with the Naboo, right around that 1 million to 2 million range. Which is that a bad thing? I mean, it gives me time. It gives me time to build up and do better closer to the end of the raid and be in a better spot.
I like that.
So I
That's
don't
that.
I don't necessarily see a loss here.
I like this so much because I think you're spot on. I think most people who are complaining that Naboo raid sucks are not going to notice any difference between Naboo and like the Order 66 raid. It's really only people maybe my level and a little bit below who are going to take a hit for a little bit and then we're going to get back to where we were and then it's fine. So
Exactly.
I just don't want everybody overreacting. It is happening very soon. It's happening sooner than I feel it should happen. But, you know,
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my gripes about the time, but it's not from a roster standpoint, it's from a game standpoint. I don't think
yes.
they should do it in 2 weeks. I really believe they should wait for the Pirates to be out. But I mean, I'm not the programmer. I don't work for CG yet. I don't have my laptop. Um,
Well, you have your own laptop.
I got my desktop. I got like the dual screens. I don't even own a laptop, so I'm automatically disqualified.
Yeah, I
So
think for all of your videos, the best thing to do is just be like, whales only, this worst raid ever, and you'll get all the clicks because everybody will want to watch it and hear you freak out. But the unpopular opinion will be not to freak out because it's the same thing we all said for the Naboo raid. And like I think the last raid where people were actually happy about it changing was when we went from crate to speeder bike because speeder bike they made a huge mistake making it allow like Imperial troopers because everybody had every single Imperial trooper. But the Boo Raider was the same thing as this, and this one's the same one. So I agree with you. I think a lot of accounts around where you are, it's gonna be the same score. Like you have enough there to get it done. It might just look different, but you'll have enough to get it done.
personally, I liked your standpoint a while, like months and months ago. where you said that you feel they should rotate raids while they figure this out. I would personally be more of a fan of that than them releasing it now.
Yes. There's there's no reason to have these in the game anymore if they don't give you Mark III. There's literally no difference. Like somebody, I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not worth it to. We're not going to do the new raid. We're just going to keep doing Naboo." Like, there's no point. Like, there's literally
It's
no
just
point.
the
Like,
Omicron standpoint alone. Let's make use of those. They're
well, it's not even
wasted. Like,
the whole thing here is like to get the at the let's say you can score like my guild was getting 424, so that was 17,000 of this and 10,000 of this. To get that in Naboo, we're basically right there at box 3. Box 3, we're you don't get as much in this one as you do in the other one for those currencies, but you think at box 3 you're basically there and I'm earning Mark III. So like it doesn't make sense to do the old raids, guys. But
so part of my thing is again the return. I did apply the Gungan raid Omicron
oh,
just because when I first started, and I wasn't scoring well, I wanted to help my guild by getting over the million, and that was my immediate like this helped. So that was like a guild move to help further a little bit while I'm slowly building everything. But now in an account where I need my Omicrons, that's a whip. Now that we're filtering out in 2 weeks, that Omicron has zero value now.
I hate to say I told you so with raid Omicrons, but that is I don't like that they don't give you a chance to get those back because it is absurd that yeah, there needs to be some like what I thought was charge you 20 for it. But at the conclusion of the raid, you'll get those 20 Omicrons back. So for that 9 months, however long the raid is, you have those Omicrons tied up in that character, and then they get returned to you.
Mhm.
I
And just
I
get rid of
think
that. Get rid of that Omi.
I think that would be okay with me because you're sacrificing an Omicron for the raid that I could equip in another game mode, and then you can decide if the next raid you want to equip those or not. RoboMelon even says he'd take 20 in and 15 out. Like that's also a very good point. Or 10, would you take 10 back? Like 10 back is basically what we have now. So 20 in, 15 out. That's a deal.
And I mean, going back to like, it was a guild move to help further. So it wasn't just like I was like I'm just gonna waste it. There was I know like I as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh man, I know I shouldn't. Phil says not to. Everybody says not to, but I have to. And it's a tough place to be. Um, I'm wondering how many actually have that applied besides Egnards.
I I know
Uh,
I know quite a few. It those are the like quality of life Omicrons as he calls it. Like he can press auto in that raid. I have to play mine manually like a peasant. But I can still get my
yeah, I mean,
max
I
score.
still have to manual my Gungans, but it makes it so I could do the higher tiers and
Okay.
get more out of them. And
Yeah,
at gear 12, that says a lot.
Oh, your Gungans are only gear 12? So no Jar Jar?
I have Boss Nass and there's a Boss Nass and Captain Tarples at Relic 1 and Phalanx and Boomadier at gear 12.
Okay.
So no Jar Jar. And I'm still scoring pretty good with that Omicron. With just the four of them.
Yeah, the four when I had the foursome, when I had those four, I was still able to max crate, but I had to remod. And now with these guys and Jar Jar, I don't even have to remod anymore. I can just send them in and get my score. But yeah,
So that
it's
was my kind of point to it. Was like, okay, it's more for my guild. We get more points. Give me my because I got to score 1 million for my guild,
okay.
and at the time I wasn't getting that. So that was my boost.
Okay. I just popped open. I don't know if you guys can see this. I just popped open my guild's gear thing, and it's just all these people upgrading the Zeta on like Ayla Sakura, like everyone just going in and equipping it. Oh, you love to see it. But so
See,
Allie,
mine is Jocasta, Ezra, Darth Bane, Omega, Fugitive.
there you go. That's a big one.
A lot of Omega and a lot of Ezra.
So Allie, why don't you plug your stuff? I've got your channel pinned, which I said at the beginning of stream, and then of course I completely forgot to say it again because I'm terrible co-host and I'm the worst person ever. But guys, her thing is up there. Go give it a follow, subscribe. Allie, plug your stuff. Where do we find you? Do you have a streaming schedule? What do you got?
So generally I try to stream on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not Friday anymore because D&D night, but Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'm gonna try Sunday because we moved. I was on D&D Sunday and we just switched it to Friday. So I'm gonna
Okay.
try Sunday night. And here's also my Twitch, which I am monetized on.
There you go. Twitch, guys. I'm not even on Twitch. But I think that's because I have to pay to add that to Streamlabs.
Yeah. So there's my Twitch. Um, what was I saying?
No, yeah, so you're
So,
on YouTube, Twitch, stream Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday kind of thing.
yeah. Because my boyfriend is off on Monday and Tuesday. So I try to stay away from streaming those days. And then Friday night's D&D.
And you stream more than just like Swago. Like you've been doing like Fallen Order and other stuff like that, haven't you?
Yes, I only do it on like Saturday nights when it's dead,
Okay.
content wise.
Yeah, there's
I'll just be
nothing
like,
going on.
you know what, let's hang out and play. We'll do Conquest for a little bit and then let's jump into Jedi Fallen Order. Or I'm slowly building my Steam library up. I want to do like Hogwarts Legacy. I'm open to any games if anybody has anything they want to see. Um, I'm totally open to that. I have Stellar Blade on my list that I want to do, which I already platinum that on PlayStation. I just really love the game.
There you go.
Uh,
That's a hell of a lot more than I can do. So I am next time we got to do this on your channel. We'll make sure that we do this again. But I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned how not to be a co-host because I'm terrible at this.
nah,
Um,
you did great.
but
Much better than Ignerts.
yeah,
I
well,
can't
I
say
mean,
that. I've never been with Ignerts.
it's you're not missing much. No, I love Egg. He he's a real one. But now, Allie, why don't you take us away? Kind of give you the final word here, and then we'll sign off.
All right. What can I really say? Um, it's been real. Being here with you, the guy that kind of like pushed me to get back into the game. It's crazy for me to actually be here right now. Uh, I spent all day today and like the last couple days, like, oh my God, I'm actually gonna be on with Phil.
Oh gosh, that's nothing special.
and,
No, come on, you're fine.
and don't get me wrong, we're all just people. It's just when somebody plays that part in your life for like a year and a half, you're just like, oh my God.
No,
Uh,
I. Wow, you're gonna make me like get emotional now. Don't no.
hey, you reviewed my account way back when. I've been with you that long,
Yes,
so
pre
it
Lightspeed bundle
means
review.
yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
So, all right, guys. Well, make sure that you go and give Allie a follow. We've got to support our up and coming content creators because without them, there's no new content coming out of Swago. It's just me telling you to go farm mods for the thousandth time. So we
Yeah.
appreciate you guys hopping on, and we will see you in the next Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Cheers, friends.